Welcome to Our Schools, Our Future, as we begin our 4th season of spreading the good news of Catholic education at WLAE. And to celebrate this exciting beginning of a new season, I have with me Martha Mundine. Martha is the principal of Pope John Paul. We thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And I have to say, every time I go see you in the summer, exciting things are going on. And then I go back in the school year and more exciting things are happening. I went to visit you just a couple of weeks ago, and once again, the campus looked so magnificent.
Thank you.
So I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about some things that have happened at Pope John Paul and what's going on. Okay. So, and when I walk in, I can just feel the sense that it's a Catholic school. So what do you do to accomplish that? And tell us some exciting things happening.
Well, we have been working on Catholic identity, and more than just, crosses on the wall, which are very important, but also just how we treat each other and things that we do.
You can feel that.
Good. We've worked extensively. The strategic plan lists that, and that's one of the things that we felt, we have good Catholic identity, but we even want to expand on that. So we've been working with teachers. We had an in-service for teachers on different ways that initiatives we can put forward to do. And also last year, through our sports program, we started a Catholic Athletes for Christ is a group for the students, and this year we're bringing another dimension to that for coaches and actually doing some professional development for coaches through Sports Leader and ways to teach virtues and bring more Catholic identity to our athletic program as well.
Oh, I think that's wonderful. And as I said, I mean, you can really feel it in the way that that people feel about Pope John Paul. And I met a parent actually last week. I forgot her name. But she was saying just that she has truly loved her child being at Pope John Paul. Her child just graduated, and you were telling me about some of your graduates that have gone on. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. We've got a lot of very distinguished alums. We have a student, she's at Harvard right now. She's the head of the softball team at Harvard, captain of the softball team. We have a student who's in California at Chapman University. She just finished something last spring in Africa, a tour in Africa. We've got alumni all over the country, and actually some across the ocean. So.
Well, that's exciting. And what you all do so well is you have that Catholic identity piece, but then you incorporate that with the strong academics so that kids are prepared.
Yes, we're working right now on 21st century skills. We've been doing that last couple of years. Last year we really focused on communication and giving oral presentations and what that looked like and communicating just as a whole. This year it's going to be collaboration. It's one of the other skills that we're working on.
Well, that's constant, continual improvement.
Always.
And that's what's so important. One of the things, as we spoke about things happening at Pope John Paul, is going to be the integration of the 8th grade. You all are really the only Catholic high school that does not have an 8th grade. So the next year's change is going to be huge for you.
Certainly.
So what are some things you're doing to prepare for that?
Well, this summer, the administration actually took a little retreat, and in that retreat what we did was for 3 solid days worked on hearing the input that's been given to us on how will this work, how will that work, and trying to figure out how it will work. And we're very excited about some of the things that will be happening. We're going to have an implementation committee that will be working on putting it forward, and we will have a meeting in September to actually invite the public, anyone who's interested in finding out more how we're going to work. I mean, we figured out schedules and everything. We're very excited.
And so what are some things that you all talked about as far as the implementation, the scheduling,
extracurriculars,
the extracurriculars,
academics. Of course, tuition is a big issue. How could we make that work? There are a lot of questions will be answered in September with that. Let's see, where will we? The big thing is, do you have room? Yes, we have room. Where will we put them? Where will we put 8th grade? The 8th grade won't be necessarily walking the halls at the same time the 12th graders will. They won't all be mixing at the same time. We have a special spot off campus we're putting them. So it's exciting, just trying to figure out all of those things, social things. I think everything we could think of, we thought we wrote.
Well, also I really like that you're getting the parental input in September.
Definitely.
Because you might be thinking of things, but the more input that you can have, I think the better product and the better implementation you'll have for the children we serve.
That's right. And we can't think of everything.
Right.
And there are things that parents are thinking of that we hadn't thought of, that we want to know.
And I went to a parent meeting at Pope John Paul. I think it was last year, and I did find that about the parental input and just how such a mutual respect and admiration. The parents just think the world of you and the administration and the faculty and what you all do as servant leaders for their children. But then also I could see just in the presentations and the conversations that you all take the input of the parents and you take it seriously and you make changes accordingly. So I'm excited.
Our school.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. It's everyone's school in the community that you serve, and I really feel that as a superintendent when I talk to you. But you also have your son there.
Yes.
And is he going to be a senior this year?
He is going to be a senior.
And what is his name?
Ryan.
And what is that like, having your child and your son?
Very different. It's actually something that I've never had my child when I was at elementary school as a principal before, and I never had him in the elementary school with me. So high school is the first time we tried this. Very apprehensive, but it's turned out fine. He tells me the only thing he doesn't like about school is seeing me during the day. That's just because I'm his mother, being a teenager, of course. So.
Well, I think all of us as parents that are in education can relate to that. So, well, once again, just thank you so much for being here. Before we close, is there anything else that you'd like to share with us? And
just, great things are going on in our end of the parish, St. Tammany East Side. So.
Well, good. Well, great. Well, once again, thank you for what you do. Thank you for working so closely with our feeder schools. Before I just want to touch on that with St. Margaret Mary and Our Lady of Lourdes. Both Bobby Oler and Bob Kiefer think the world of you and have expressed that, and they're looking forward to working with you as well as they have for many years. So once again, thank you for everything that you do for the Ministry of Catholic Education. And we will be right back. Thank you.
You're watching WLAE, New Orleans Public Television. Find us on Cox Channel 14, Charter Channel 11 and 711, AT&T Channel 32 and 1032, Dish TV, Direct TV, and over-the-air broadcast on Channel 32.
Welcome back. I am pleased to have with me Terrence Hamilton from Boy Scouts, and as many of you know, Scouting is a very important ministry of our church. So I wanted to have Terrence here as we kick off the new school year to tell you a little bit about Scouting and the things they do, and see maybe if your child can get involved in Scouting. So Terrence, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
And you are the director of the Southeast Council, is that correct?
Yes, well, Director of Field Service, or in layman's term, Chief of Operations.
Oh, well, great, great. Well, I have been so honored to serve as the Roundup Chairman for last year and this year, along with
Superintendent Patrick Dobar from the Recovery School District.
Yes, because we want to get kids involved in Scouting.
Yes, we do.
And what would you say, as you look back on your years in Scouting, and I think your son's an Eagle Scout.
Yes, he is. Proud of my son.
And what is your son's name?
My son's name is Keymon, Keymon.
But you have a number of children.
I do. I have my son who's 20, then I also have 3 daughters, all under the age of 3.
Okay, so you have that Eagle Scout.
I do have my son. Yes, I do.
There you go, there you go. But I know all of your children will be involved in Scouting because it's obvious that you believe in it. Could you tell us, just in your years of Scouting, if you're a parent watching this, what would you tell that parent as far as the importance of getting their child involved in Scouting?
Sure. To put it real simple, Scouting gets it right. You know, when you talk about leadership development or building character, or you talk about instilling, just the right things in a child, you want your child to be able to set goals and accomplish them. And that's what Scouting is about, Along the way, when a kid is in Scouting, his objective is to earn that next merit badge or to earn that extra rank, and all through that time, he's learning, he's growing. And it's amazing the growth that you can see. I mean, it's amazing the growth that I've seen in my son just over the weekend or over weekends or over campouts. So it's one of those programs that gets it right, and it is time well spent.
And they may be learning all of those things, but from what I see, they're also having a blast.
Yes, they are. Yes,
what are some things that they do that if you were telling the child right now, why should they be in Scouting? What would you say to them?
Because it's fun. As a parent, we do talk about, the things that it does for a child as far as character development and leadership. But as a kid, who doesn't want to shoot BB guns? Who doesn't want to shoot bows and arrows? Or as a young adult, who doesn't want to shoot shotguns? Who doesn't want to go camping with their friends? So yes, indeed, it's very exciting for a kid. They do have a lot of fun.
Well, I went to visit one of the Boy Scout camps.
You did?
And that was very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
We had the dinner there. And what I saw, kids were having a great time. It was during the summer,
Mm-hmm.
so they were in the middle of a camp out, or a week of camp,
Sure.
overnight camp, and having a blast. But what I saw was a lot of people from the community involved in scouting,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of people that wanted to give back in scouting because they saw what scouting had done for them.
Yeah.
Could you tell us a little bit about the many volunteers that work in scouting, and
Yes,
about
yes.
the mission of
Yes,
scouting?
yes.
And it just becomes a part of people.
Right.
That's what I've noticed.
Right. The mission is just to instill in kids, ethics and morals. And across this city, across the 11 parishes that we cover, we have about 2,000 volunteers that are involved. From the boardrooms that are downtown, to just volunteers in your church. We have a massive following.
I think one of the things too that is so important for a child is for parents to be involved.
Yes.
So how does scouting allow opportunities for the parents to be involved in scouting?
Sure. The greatest thing about scouting is that it allows you to be your child's role model. There's nothing like joining or being there that first night, and we do ask parents to get involved. We want your child to look to you. So there are many ways. You can be that parent who brings the cookies. You can be the cut master. You can be a den leader. It's a family program. We want the entire family involved.
And how can parents get involved? And let's talk a little bit about, schools starting,
Yes.
our
Mm-hmm.
schools throughout the area, and particularly from my standpoint, the Catholic schools in the area are going to be opening up the scouting to children. And right now, you're representing Boy Scouts, but scouting throughout.
Yes.
And it really is, like I said, it's a ministry of our church because we want kids involved in scouting.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about the recruitment
Yes.
over the next couple of weeks, and then what parents need to ask their schools and what they can do to get involved.
Sure. This year's campaign is being sponsored by Entergy. So with their sponsorship, we're allowed to go into all of the elementary schools and churches in the area with very attractive promotional material, from flyers, posters, and yard signs. So be on the lookout for those flyers, posters, and yard signs. And if you do not see them in your school or your church, you can always visit us on the web at www.bascout.org. Again, that's www.bascout.org.
Okay, now suppose a school or a church doesn't have a scouting program,
Mm-hmm.
and they want to get one started. Who
Sure.
would they contact? Would they call you? Would they?
Yes, they could call our local office. We have representatives in all communities, but that telephone number will be 504-889-0388, 504-889-0388. And what we would do is we'll send a team of volunteers out there, seasoned volunteers, who will come out there to your church or to your school and help you get your program off the ground and running.
I have a friend of mine who's a very active Boy Scout leader,
Mm-hmm.
and he runs the Boy Scouts at St. Catherine of Siena.
Yes.
Well, his family invited my family to come and do the same thing as the Boy Scouts.
Yes.
And we went hiking and tent camping, and this was about maybe 5 years ago. And I have to say, when my kids reflect on their absolute favorite vacation, that was it.
That's awesome.
And it really was a family time.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a lot of fun. So,
when I think about the times that my son and I went camping, or the times that he went camping and I couldn't make it, I asked him, I said, son, what's your favorite camp out? And it's always the most recent one that he had. So every time you go out, and you're camping with the Scouts, it becomes an outdoor classroom. You're always learning. And like I said earlier in the program, the Scouts has it figured out. We really do.
well, I have to say, just complete disclaimer, my kids had a blast. I thought it was a lot of fun, but I don't know if I'm such a tent camper.
That's quite all right,
But it was an experience.
And when you're ready to come back and you're ready to be that leader that camps, we have a training for that to get you ready.
That's right, that's right. But it really was a lot of fun, and I strongly would encourage parents to become involved in scouting,
Yes.
because, as you said, I think it can be a family coming together,
Yes.
but it also can be a wonderful opportunity for a child to learn so many skills,
Got it.
have a fun time, and in our Catholic schools, part of the Catholic ministry. So I thank you for everything you do to make the world a better place, because that's what this does. It helps children live better lifetime skills.
You're right.
So we thank you for all that you do, and thank you for letting me being part of this, because I've really enjoyed seeing so many people work for the greater good of the children we serve.
Well, thank you for partnering with us.
Yeah, well, I've enjoyed every minute of it, so thank you.
Correct.
And we will be right back for more Our Schools, Our Future.
You're watching WLAE, New Orleans Public Television. Find us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Welcome back to Our Schools, Our Future. I have Matt Downey with me. He is the principal of St. Benil. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me on.
I see you have your green tie to go with St. Benil, so
Absolutely.
that's good.
Miss Betty, my secretary, wouldn't let me do anything else.
Well, it looks very nice.
Thank you.
As we're starting a new school year, this is exciting. What year is it for you at St. Benil?
I'm going into year 3.
Seems to be the number. Same with Martha. She was saying year 3, so that's great. So when I go visit St. Benil, I love going to visit there. It just is such a nurturing, warm, fuzzy place to be.
Yeah.
And I attribute a lot of that to you and the teachers there. Can you tell us, what do you all do to make it that warm, fuzzy place? It really, it's what a Catholic school should be.
Yeah, it has been that way. I mean, I don't want to take any credit for it.
Well, Vicki did a great job before you.
She did a great job before me. That community just is really an authentic, small Christian community. They do get along with each other. You know, I've been with other schools and have known other schools that say, we're a family here. And I'm like, no, you're not.
Not in the Archdiocese,
yeah, no,
of course.
no, not in the Archdiocese, but other places that I've been. And so this community really is a family. They embrace it. I mean, they've got the crazy aunts and uncles and all that stuff, but it's wonderful. And for me, it actually reminded me of the elementary school that I went to in the parish I grew up in, and that was a big attraction to me.
Well, I came to the bingo. I think it was last year, and I have to say, everyone was so friendly, so nice, and I really enjoyed that family spirit. The other thing that I noticed when I was at the bingo was the way that you had students from our high schools come volunteer. And they were saying, oh, well, I came to St. Benil, I just had to come back. So not only is it a warm, welcoming place for the children you serve and for the families, but also when kids move on, they want to come back and be part of the ministry as well. And so that just says a whole lot for St. Benil and what you offer the children in the way of making it home.
Yes. And that is very intentional in everything we do.
Yeah, and you know, I think that really starts with the Archbishop in a lot of ways too, because in working with our Archbishop, it's so imperative that people feel a part of the church.
Yes.
And you're doing that at St. Benil, so thank you for that.
Well, thank you.
But also, we have some exciting curriculum initiatives that have been going on at St. Benil. And why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, it really, for me, comes out of that family atmosphere. And at St. Benil, what really we like to do is it's about a personalized curriculum. I like to tell parents when they say, what's your curriculum? I said, your kid is our curriculum. And there's 3 parts that we do on that. The first part is we are able to drive a lot of good data about each kid's level of readiness. We have an internal benchmark assessment that we do that is able to tell us very quickly, in about 30 minutes, these are the skills the child has learned, these are the skills the child obviously hasn't learned. Most important, these are the skills that the child is primed and ready to learn. This is what they should be focused on. And so the teachers take that information and they work together in teams, and using small group, large group, individualized, and even independent instruction methods, each day each kid is working on those target skills. It's very excited to do that. That's the first part. The second part for us is going to be a blended model of learning resources. So every kid starting in 1st grade through 7th grade needs to bring a iPad, tablet, an approved electronic device to school. We give parents the ability to choose what they want for their child. We give them some basic parameters. So they use that to go onto the whole host of digital resources that we have available. Some of the programs like Extra Math, which is a free resource, is awesome 21st century flashcards, is the best way to do it. And we also have the traditional manipulatives that you would see. We did a major investment in our Early Learning Center to bring in high quality manipulatives for our youngest learners at like a year old or at 6 weeks. And then the last thing is we're going to have the traditional paper texts and things that you would expect. We bring all of that to bear, going with the data that we get about each kid, and we just really can drive a lively, enlivened learning program for them. And then the last part that brings us all together for us is, the skills we're focused on are going to be, we want it to be from the highest quality standards around. And what we have been able to see through our own data is that is clearly for us the Common Core standards. In fact, the data that we're able to drive through the benchmark assessment, which can show us where they benchmark from a Common Core standpoint versus a Louisiana GLE standpoint, the Common Core has about a full grade level more rigor than the Louisiana standards did. And so for us, we want to make sure we're using the most rigorous, challenging standards for the kids. When you bring it all together, it is really allowing us to drive good learning improvements for all kids. And so the highest performing kids, they're constantly being challenged. The kids that are a little bit more delayed, we're not pushing them faster than we can go or than they can go, but we're still challenging them. And then in the middle, none of those kids fall through the cracks. It's not they're doing fine, and then 5 years later discovered they missed a skill. We're not missing anything.
That's wonderful. So you have seen success with this.
Yes, we have. We're very excited.
And you have the data to show that.
We do.
That's great.
Terra Nova results, some of our classrooms as a whole improved year to year on math computation by almost double.
Wow.
And so we're very, very pleased. We have a long way to go. But my faculty, who are great faculty, work very strongly with my assistant principal, Mrs. Perez, and myself, and they're really taking control of this. It's exciting as an administrator and a leader to watch them take control and take to heart this curriculum approach to really improve learning for kids.
And one of the things that you've said to me is that you have such a nice partnership with Father Cooper, and he's so supportive of the school.
Yes, he is.
And that's a true blessing.
Yeah, he's in the classrooms on a regular basis. He and I have a very good dialogue with each other. He's very supportive, and he also provides a very good critical eye to me, so we're just always balancing each other.
Right, right. And with that partnership, it really lends itself for a school to be a true Catholic school in every way it possibly can for the families and the children we serve. We're almost out of time. Okay. But I just wanted to give you a quick opportunity to tell us a little bit. You're not from here. How do you like New Orleans?
I love New Orleans. I'm a Midwesterner. I'm not a Yankee. I'm from Ohio. There's a difference. But I actually got a Master of Religious Education from Loyola, New Orleans here. And spent a few summers, fell in love with the city, and it became one of those, well, if the time was ever right, places. And a couple years ago, the time was right, so my wife and I came down, we interviewed for St. Benilde, and we said, now this is where we want to be. So we moved our family down, and we've not looked back.
Well, thank you so much for your ministry in Catholic education and everything you do as a true servant leader for the children and the families you serve.
Well, thank you, and thank you for the leadership you give me that enables me to do the work I do.
Well, good. Thank you. And thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
And also, I want to thank you for joining us tonight. And I want to give a special thank you for WLAE giving us this opportunity for now, like I said, our 4th season, to showcase the wonderful things that are happening in our schools and throughout the Archdiocese of New Orleans. Hope to see you next time.